Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Cummings out of the U.S. House basically condemns Snyder's actions and basically says, look, you need to resign. And I think to add to that list, Flint's money manager needs to resign. The mayor of Flint needs to resign. This is a whole bunch of negativity and negligence that unfortunately didn't get handled the right way, and stuff like this does come back to bite them. And you know what? They rushed it and they got crappy results. So they wanted to be penny pinching Jews, and that's what happens when you don't run the numbers, when you don't do quality samples, when you don't do all the things necessary, and you push a project before it's ready, like any number of things in the industrial area, in the police area, anything else. Eventually it harms the public or it harms the people involved in the project. In this case, the government group is only getting the civil section, while the families of Flint had criminal genocidal tendencies, and unfortunately, issues brought onto their families that now are going to cost them more money than they will ever be able to afford. Because, the water had lead in it, they probably knew, and they probably thought, well, we can flush it out. Or, you know what, it's going to be minimal, don't worry about it. The damage is not going to be big. And then it came back to bite them in the ass. So, you know what, I don't have any problem putting these guys before Congress. And I don't see Snyder going to jail for this, nor do I see the mayor of Flint or anybody else, but this is a big situation, and Mr. Cummings is one of the people whom I've been watching for a little while, whom I think would actually make a great president. And it's kind of sad to see that he never wanted to run, or he hasn't run yet, because I've actually watched his career for a little while. It's not too bad. He seems to have the right sense of what needs to be done within the short run of what I'm able to actually see on camera with his decisions on everything. So I got this from Click on Detroit. I'm going to run the whole thing under an education so you can see it. I happen to like this, and he basically hands it to Snyder like, no, sorry, you need to resign. Nobody trusts you, and you need to resign.
Email to your staff with a list. 2015, you sent an email to your staff with a list of priorities for 2015. Most of the document is redacted, but we can see that number 36 on the list, was the Flint water system. So, Governor, Flint water was not your first priority. It was not in the top 10, wasn't even in the top 20, not even in the top 30. Flint was number 36. Shouldn't the children and the residents of Flint have been higher on your priority list, Mr. Governor?
In retrospect, with it becoming a true safety issue with the lead issue, it should have been higher. That was not the issue at the time.
Now, Mr. Governor, we also know what you do prioritize. When things got rough for you and your administration started being investigated by law enforcement, you got the people of Michigan to pay your legal fees. Governor, do you admit here today that you have asked the people of Michigan for more than $1 million to pay for your criminal and civil defense fees?
Yes.
And it makes me sick to think you found a way to have the state of Michigan pay over $1 million in legal fees, yet you thought so little of the people in Flint that you could not be bothered to ask the legislature for money to switch them over to clean water.
And they haven't done that yet.
And I got to tell you, you need to resign.
Told you. Every time I watch him, I kind of get a sense that he needs to be higher up in the food chain than where he is. And I think it's an unfortunate situation that, we don't hear from this guy being, the U.S. DOJ guy, or I don't know where he got his founding from. I haven't really followed him much as far as his education and his background, but coming from what he just said, it sounds like this is a guy we should have sitting in the presidential campaign. I don't care if he's black. I don't care if he's white. I don't care if he's Arab. I don't care if he's what his background is. If he's good and he's solid, and this guy sounds like he knows exactly what needs to happen, he tells Congress, or he tells Snyder, you need to resign. And this was unfortunately what do you call it? A shortened version where he said, nobody trusts you. You need to resign, sir. And that part was a little bit more humbling, and you saw Snyder kind of go, well, not going to do that. And he didn't actually say it, but you could tell by the facial expressions and everything. But this basically says, do you admit now before us that you have had Michigan pay for over $1 million of your legal fees for civil and criminal defense in this situation? He said, yes. And then this guy, Mr. Cummings, said, how can you expect them to want to even pay that if you're doing this in Flint? Well, we didn't know at the time, and yes, but you haven't switched it back over. Well, no, you need to resign. That's just it. I wouldn't even say you need to resign. I would have said, sir, I'd like to see your notice of resignation by the end of this hearing. Thank you. And it wouldn't be a threat. It would still be an announcement. And that would be that.